2007, Yale added a new campus, which we're calling our West Campus. My name is Michael Donahue, and I served as the Vice President in charge of West Campus Planning and Program Development from 2008 through 2010. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the campus and the progress that we've been making in developing it as a site for innovative new programs that will greatly expand Yale's capacity in the sciences as well as in the arts and humanities. The West Campus is located about 7 miles down the highway from New Haven towards New York, and this site was owned by Bayer Pharmaceutical Company, which was using it as an administrative center and a research and development center. In the foreground in this picture, you can see many of the buildings of the West Campus, and if you look in the distance on the horizon, you can see there the skyline of New Haven and see some of the taller buildings of the main campus, the main Yale campus. Now, one of the great attractions to this site was the fact that Bayer had put a lot of energy into building some very nice science facilities, science buildings for their research activities. Some of these completed as recently as 2003. And inside of these buildings there are really excellent laboratories that are very well appointed for cutting-edge science. In particular, they were using these labs for medicinal chemistry, and so the labs are very well appointed with very large fume hoods, which this is the sort of laboratory that would be very difficult and expensive to build on the main campus, so immediately this looked like an opportunity to jumpstart science activities on the West Campus. Now, of course, the real question was, what did we really want to do exactly with the West Campus in terms of our science activities? And so, as you can imagine, we had a lot of brainstorming in the early phases, some large, some small. This is one of the larger brainstorming sessions. We brought together around 70 scientists from across the campus, including the medical school, the School of Engineering, and the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. And basically, this session and others like it confirmed the idea that we wanted to use the West Campus for innovative new programs, not just the expansion of older ones. And we wanted to use it as a way to break down the barriers and bring together people from across the different units across campus. In particular, we were concerned to bring medical school, engineering, and FAS scientists together in one location around a number of new themes. Now, the first thing we did was to develop a set of core technology platforms or core facilities. Here I'm showing 5 of them. There's a 6th one devoted to a cryogenic storage facility. But this ranges from a high-throughput cell biology core facility, which focuses on siRNA technology, to a small molecule discovery center, which is focused on chemical screening facility. And in each case, there's a Yale faculty member who's taken charge of these activities, and there's an on-site director of the day-to-day activities shown in the lower row here. So to date, the one that's been most successful actually is our Yale Center for Genomic Analysis. And with the purchase of over a dozen Illumina sequencing machines, we're now able in this facility to sequence something like 500 billion base pairs of DNA every week, which is really extraordinary capacity. And it's made possible all sorts of new research in the medical school focused on, for example, identifying rare mutations that are associated with diseases, but also in the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, where we're focused on whole genome sequencing of organisms that may be useful as biofuels. So this has really greatly expanded what we can do around the entire campus. Now, once you start developing those kinds of facilities and generating that amount of data, then it's important, obviously, to think about analysis of those data and the storage of these data. And so for that reason, we've been building out a high-performance computing center on the West Campus, which now is actually serving the entire campus, including the astronomers and people interested in climate modeling. And this shows some of the development that we're undergoing on the West Campus to build out that facility. So these core facilities or technology platforms that I've just been talking about are illustrated here as little green bubbles or circles, and surrounding those are what we're calling the multidisciplinary research institutes. And at the moment we're focused on 5 of these, and we're starting to build a 6th one in the area of energy. Each one of these institutes has 3 bubbles within it, and those are meant to represent the idea that in each one we're trying to bring together people from the medical school, from engineering, and from the FAS sciences. So I'll tell you a little bit now about how we're doing in terms of developing these institutes. So in the area of microbial diversity, we're off to a tremendous start. We were able to hire 2 really outstanding microbial biologists from the University of Arizona, Howard Achman and Nancy Moran. Howard is now serving as the director of the Microbial Diversity Institute. And in addition, just this last year, we were able to hire 2 new colleagues from Washington University in St. Louis, Eduardo Groisman and Andy Goodman. Also in the corner of these slides, this one and the ones to come, you'll see that we're developing, in each case, a faculty advisory committee made up of faculty from across the relevant departments on the campus. The Systems Biology Institute is likewise off to a good start. Gunter Wagner, who has been at Yale for some time, moved his laboratory out there to help us direct this activity. And we've managed to hire 2 really superb young faculty members, Jesse Reinhardt in the physiology department and Farron Isaacs in the molecular, cellular, and developmental biology department. Also, 2 faculty who are already present at Yale have moved a portion of their laboratory out to the West Campus to be part of these activities. Now, the Systems Biology Institute provides a good illustration of the idea of co-locating these programs physically in buildings on the West Campus. And so in this particular building on the West Campus, we have members of the medical school and members of departments on Science Hill, and these would otherwise be quite separated from one another, but it turns out we can co-locate them in the Systems Biology Institute, so their labs are directly intermingled with one another. And this is something we wanted to achieve, and we think is working out very nicely. The Biodesign Institute is just getting underway. This one is a very exciting venture at the intersection of cell biology and engineering. Jim Rothman, who was hired several years ago from Columbia, has taken over as the director of the Biodesign Institute, and this is being co-directed by Kyle Vanderlick, who's our dean of the engineering school. And we've been successful just recently in attracting a couple of really outstanding young faculty, Tobias Walter and Jay Yao, both of whom are in our cell biology department. Chemical biology is off to a good start as well. Alana Shepards, who's in our chemistry department already, has taken the lead on this activity. And we managed this last year to hire 2 really outstanding senior faculty, John Ellman from UC Berkeley and Andy Phillips from the University of Colorado have joined us and are setting up parts of their laboratories on the West Campus right now. And finally, the Cancer Institute is getting going now. We've hired Yossi Schlesinger, who is the chair of our pharmacology department, to be the director of the Cancer Institute. And this whole activity has been overseen for a couple of years now by Tom Lynch, who we hired from Harvard to come and direct all of Yale's cancer effort. Now here I'm showing silhouettes of people that we are trying to hire. We're actively seeking faculty to join the Cancer Institute, and we expect to be filling some of those bubbles in the next year. Now, when you get these kinds of activities going and locating faculty on the West Campus, then naturally it spins off really good intellectual activities, and in particular we've seen the development of a number of really fantastic symposia on the West Campus. I'm showing you here the Yale Systems Biology Institute Symposium, which was a day-long event, and the Microbial Diversity Institute has put on several half-day events which have been very popular. And it turns out that the West Campus is really an outstanding place to hold these kinds of meetings. We have a very nice auditorium, and located just outside of the auditorium is an area where food can be provided and where you can set up poster presentations. So it makes a very good conference center, and actually this turns out to be something very useful across the whole campus. We've now put on something like 180 events and conferences on the West Campus. So this is proving to be very useful in general. Now, I've been concentrating on the science activities. Now I want to switch gears a little bit and tell you about some of the activities in the arts area and the museums. And these activities have been centered in the building shown here in red, which was Bayer's manufacturing plant. And so we've been busy retrofitting that manufacturing plant to serve our needs. And in particular, it's allowed us to expand our storage capacities for specimens from the museums. The first big movement to the West Campus was the Peabody Museum of Natural History, which has now moved something on the order of 4 million of their 12 million specimens out to the West Campus. And you can see in these facilities it allows us to make accessible things that really on the main campus were not accessible. They were stored away in basements and not very accessible. Here on the West Campus, there's plenty of room to work with these things, and this has been great for students and faculty and for scholars who come to visit the collection from around the world. Another activity in the arts area is the development of a communal conservation facility, conservation of materials, preservation of materials. And here you can see one of these conservation activities going on the West Campus, sponsored by the Yale University Art Gallery. It's the refurbishment, the preservation of a set of really large and wonderful mosaics from the Middle East. And once these things are preserved this way, then they can be put on display in the Yale Art Gallery on the main campus. But this allows us the space to spread out and do these large conservation efforts. In addition, we're building a digital core facility, and one of the things we're featuring right now is high-throughput digitization of books and manuscripts and pieces of art, including three-dimensional specimens from the different museums and the libraries. This shows these automated, we have a set of automated scanners for books and manuscripts, and these are now running around the clock on the West Campus and generating a lot of new material of great use to scholars everywhere. Finally, I want to mention that we're very lucky that there's a natural area on the West Campus. There's a small river, the Oyster River, that runs through the West Campus down to Long Island Sound, and this has allowed us the opportunity to start up a bunch of outdoor education programs run primarily by the Peabody Museum of Natural History. And so we're engaging local school children from West Haven and Orange primarily, and teachers and students. And these involve students at all different ages. So for example, these are kids who are out doing a biodiversity survey of the Oyster River and the surrounding woodlands. And of course it opens up these kinds of opportunities also for our own Yale students. These are master's students from the Forestry and Environmental Studies School out measuring and developing a management plan for our natural areas on the West Campus. In addition, I should say, we are developing transportation, dining, we have daycare facilities, and other things to make the West Campus a complete campus and a complete community. Well, I hope I've managed to convey how excited we are by the opportunities that the West Campus presents to expand in so many new and promising directions. While we have a long way to go to realize the full potential of our new campus, we're off, I think, to a good start in developing a set of activities that will serve Yale well for many years to come. Thank you very much.